Who are you?
Whoever you want me to be.
Don't say I never gave you anything.
It's feeling epic.
3 words. 8 letters.
I remember everything.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Previously on Teen TV. I'm Jillian Banani.
I'm Claire Wojciechowski.
And we have another very special episode for you today, listeners. We are talking about the show that's become an internet sensation, Maxton Hall.
Yes, this show appeared out of nowhere.
I know. Didn't know it was coming out, heard nothing about it.
No advertising leading up to it, no promo whatsoever, just dropped on Amazon Prime May 9th. And over that weekend, I guess some social clips just took the world by storm because it was number one in many countries.
I mean, I saw it like all over my Instagram. That was like the first thing I saw about it, you know, seeing those fan edits. Those fans are quick.
Oh, that's where you saw it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I saw it on Instagram, fan edits, and I was like, who is this man that I haven't seen before? What is going on here?
This chiseled blonde man.
Yeah. So I was like, I got to watch this. Well, you told me about it, actually.
Yes. So it dropped on May 9th, as I said, and that was a Thursday, I believe. And on that Sunday, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a video clip on the official Amazon Prime Video account.
Yeah.
And it was like a scene. And I was like, this is a teen drama. Like, why haven't I heard of this before?
Yeah.
Looked it up, went to Prime, saw it was number 3 in the world already, or 3 in the US, excuse me. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And instantly was like, I'm on board.
I mean, it's kind of wild that this like German show has become so big.
I know. It's kind of a little unprecedented, I'd say.
Yeah. And I think when I first like started watching it, and you kind of warned me about this.
Yes.
You were like, it's a German show that takes place in the UK.
Yes.
There's dubbing, or you can do subtitles. Right. So I watched the dubbing first because that's just how it set itself up to be.
Yeah, it's automatically, when you play it, at least in the US, it's automatically dubbed in English.
Yeah. And at first I was like, what is this? And then, 10 minutes in, I'm like, I love it. Like,
right? Well, I think we've talked about this a bit. The dubbing doesn't really set you up for success.
No,
I think.
it doesn't.
The dubbing in English is a little odd. And I was like, I'm having a tough time understanding. So I put on the subtitles in English as well. And they do not match.
Oh, interesting.
No, so like it's whoever did the translation for the dubbing actors is clearly it's like not the same company or whatever that did the dubbing for the subtitles because it's slightly different. And I will say the subtitles make more sense to me. Like they feel like more natural than like what the dubbing is.
Well, so then I rewatched it a second time, and that's when I had it on in German and then English subtitles, and it was better that way. I will say I'm not a subtitles girl. Like,
that's fair. You got to pay more attention. It's hard.
You know why it's hard too? It's like I just want to stare at these beautiful people's faces. Yes. So I kept getting distracted because I'm just staring at their face.
Right.
But I'm having to read the subtitles, and I kept having to rewind it because I was like, I missed that part because I'm staring into that man's gorgeous blue eyes.
I get it. And this is a show that really... it makes the most of those longing looks. Like there's so much like looking at each other between Ruby and James.
Just what I want.
Like that tension builds and builds for a while. So I get why you want to just stare at them and watch them look at each other for hours.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend... Look, I watched the whole thing with dubbing, didn't hate it, but I would recommend doing it with the subtitles. It's a little better.
Yeah.
But why don't you give us a little brief synopsis on what Maxton Hall is, Claire?
I would love to. So Maxton Hall is about this girl named Ruby Bell. She's poor. She goes to Maxton Hall College in England.
She's poor.
Listen,
she's poor. They mention it quite a bit in the show.
They do. It's
actually.
Like she doesn't have as much money as the other students at Maxton Hall, which is this very fancy private school. And she dreams of going to Oxford one day and raising money for her to help her family. And one day she walks in on her favorite teacher making out with another student.
Eek. Teacher student.
Never great. And this student is a very, very rich girl named Lydia Beaufort, and she immediately runs to her brother James and is like, you got to fix this. I'm in trouble. So James goes to Ruby and he tries to pay her off. And she's like, no, I have principles.
I have morals.
You can't buy me,
Beautiful
sir.
man.
Yes.
I thought she should have taken the money, honestly.
Honestly, I would have too, because like you could have still like had some tension there, but like take the money.
He offered her $10,000. Like she wasn't going to tell anyone what she saw anyway. So I was like, take the money, girl.
Right,
You
like,
need it.
He
You're
doesn't need to
poor.
know that. Yeah. Honestly, but she turns him down and he is just so perplexed by this. He's like stunned and sort of decides that he's going to like wage war on her and like so he sabotages her at this school fundraiser thing that she set up, gets them both in trouble. They are assigned to plan this big gala together. And sparks start flying, you know.
Boy, do they fly.
Yes, it is classic enemies to lovers.
I love an enemies to lovers storyline. And I feel like this show did do it really well. Because I like that they don't stay enemies for too long.
No.
Like, we get them friendly, you know, kind of around, like, ep
I
2
think
or
too,
3.
when she goes to apologize to him on the field.
Well, that's when everything changes.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
It's so good.
She apologizes to him, and he's like so perplexed that somebody's actually apologizing for something. I feel like he's never had that in his life. He's sad, rich boy.
Yeah, daddy issues.
As we come to learn.
They all have daddy issues. Like,
what a bad dad in this
he's
one.
a terrible, like a cartoon villain dad. He's mean.
He's like Dan Scott, I thought.
Yes, he's evil, his dad.
He gives me major Dan Scott vibes because he is just so mean to these kids and is like really pushing them to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, let them be.
Right? Like they're kids. They're like teenagers.
Yeah.
And he's determined that James is going to like step up in their business. They run a fashion company, like this very storied fashion company.
I love the fashion company aspect of this. I thought that was so fun. Like, it's so chic. And like they dress so well. And it's just such a fun aspect of it. Because at first I was like, how are they so rich? Is this just kind of like old money or something like that? And then I was like, a fashion company that like goes back like 200 years or whatever. Like, I thought that was so smart and like such a fun aspect of this and something we just have not seen in one of these shows before.
No, I mean, they dress the kings and things like that.
I love that aspect of like, oh yeah, King Charles comes in
I
here.
know.
I was like, oh right, I forgot he's king.
Yeah. I think
we all want to forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was almost like, ooh, we got a little bit of aspect almost of like the crown in this. Like just that kind of like old, like wealthy British money was like really like drew me into this.
Yeah, and they go to London for like a little bit, and we see them at Oxford as well. Like there's a lot of really great moments where they're on location, and it's like it feels, I think so much of Europe and England in particular feels very ancient and like has its history, and so that really brings it in. Like he's got money and he's had money for a long time, and her family is not in the same situation.
Yeah. As they really make known quite a bit, but they're so happy.
Oh my!
The family,
I know.
Ruby's family is so happy. It was a little much.
Like they're all best friends. They
they're
all love
throwing
to hang
food at each other, running around the house together.
I know.
But okay, let's talk about Ruby and James, our two main players here. I mean, I'm sorry. I do feel like James was just made in like a teen drama factory. Like he just looks the part of a leading guy on one of these shows. I could not get enough.
I mean, he's tall, he's blonde, he's got these beautiful blue eyes. At one point, we see him shirtless a few times, and he's just sculpted.
Okay, we see him shirtless in the first scene.
Yes, we open with him waking up in bed next to a random girl.
I thought that was a bit jarring, if I have to be honest. I was like, why does he have an 8-pack?
I know. It's a lot.
Yeah, why does this teenage boy so fit? But I mean, I wasn't.
Because his dad is pushing him.
Yeah, he's captain of the lacrosse team. He has to be successful. I don't know. I wasn't upset by it.
At the first scene where I'm already flustered even talking about this, but yeah, the first scene he like rolls over and we see like full abs, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, you're like, what?
jump scare.
Like, I thought this was a teen show.
I know. I think though in like European teen shows, they can just get away with more. Like I'm like, oh, they're European. Like they can, they're drinking at a young age. They're a little more wild. They like sex isn't so taboo there.
Right.
We don't need to talk about if they're virgins or not. Like I just feel like in European shows, like that's how I view it.
No, and I appreciated that. Like I was really thankful that like not once did we mention there wasn't like a talk about like sex or like Ruby being like shy. It was just like,
I know.
they have chemistry and they go with it. And like, that was really nice to see. Really refreshing.
The chemistry is so good between them. Like you can just like feel it.
Yeah. Through the screen.
Yeah.
The way that they look at each other, it's like overwhelming.
The looks that they give are just so good.
I know.
Longing stares.
I love when she like does like that little like smile at him, and then it's like, oh God, it's so cute.
I know.
So much tension.
Yeah, I feel like that first scene that we get really with them like in the field of them like having a moment.
Yeah,
like the way he looks at her, you're like, oh, everything's changed. Like it's just like it's so good. They're not like breaking boundaries with the format of the show. It really follows that structure of like, okay, we're enemies. Now, we understand each other a little bit more. Now we're into each other. Now we're together. Now we have to like tear them apart. And then, we have to end up like back together. Like I kind of like that it just followed that format. It really follows the format of a romance book.
I had that thought too when I was thinking about it, and I was like, it's only 6 episodes and not a ton of plot happens. Like there's a few side things going on, but it's mostly just their relationship. And it does feels, I mean, it was based on a book called Save Me, which I don't know what it's a novel called Save Me. I'm sure that's the English translation. I won't even attempt the German. So I think that's why it's very classic romance novel of like, 2 different worlds, and there's these obstacles and they're back and forth. And I liked the simplicity of that storytelling.
I did too, and I like that we were just focused on our 2 main characters for the most part. Like we don't have a lot of like side storylines going on. Like a lot of the other characters like aren't featured that much.
No, they're there a little bit, but not enough that you have to like really keep track of them.
Yeah. Like at first with the sister and the teacher, I was like, are we really doing a like teacher student storyline? But again, I'm like European. They're like a little different.
They're all like 18 or almost 18.
Yeah.
She's like, we met, outside of school. And I'm like, it still doesn't matter.
I know. But I was like, are we going to have to like follow the storyline the whole time? But like that is such a side plot point that it like really doesn't matter. So I'm kind of like, I don't hate it. Yeah, I love that we could just like focus on these main 2 because again, I couldn't stop staring at them.
I was like sad anytime that they weren't on screen together. I was like, just put them back together. Like I don't like they're just talking. Like they're so hot together. It's honestly, I'll just say it.
The Victorian dress scene where they're in London together and they are trying on these like Victorian clothes to make a poster for the gala.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love that scene so much. And I was like, this is so smart. Like this is a scene I have not seen before in one of these shows. Like it just felt like a little different. But again, you're getting those like swoony moments in it, and her just like walking down the stairs. Like it wasn't like her walking downstairs like for a school dance or something like that. It was kind of like a different spin on a classic moment.
Yeah. They're in a different setting. And it's that moment is incredible. The song that's playing during that moment, like the music in the show is great.
It's so good.
I like multiple times was like shazamming on my phone as I was watching, and that was the first time I think the song that plays as she's like they're dancing in this like I forget what it's called, like, but they're dancing in this beautiful, like, well-lit, wood-paneled room, and it's just like, oh, it's so romantic.
And they're, like, laughing and, like, having fun with each other, and we really haven't seen him, like, in that light yet. And it's, like, so clear that she brings this out in him, and it's just so cute. And he's, like, playing the piano when she's coming down, like...
Oh, you get that classic shot of he like looks up and is like his face changes when he sees her because he's so blown away by her beauty.
He looks like Leonardo DiCaprio in Romeo and Juliet.
Beautiful
in that scene. Like, don't you think?
Yes.
Like early Leo.
Excellent.
It's the way he looks at her going down the stairs. I'm like, who is this man? Has he been in anything else?
I think like some German stuff, but like not.
Like, the Germans know how to do it.
Do they? What else have they done?
I don't know, but if this is what you're coming out the gate with, like, I am here for it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm ready for more.
We also see their chemistry a lot in the dance scene.
Oh,
when she goes to a party, which she's like never really gone to before, classic nerdy girl.
Yeah.
And she actually shows up and they dance together, and it is just so cute. Like,
they're just having fun.
Yeah,
They're
and
laughing, they're flirting. It's nice.
yeah, and they go between like, you know, kind of like goofy dancing to then more like closer hot dancing. And I was just like, this is so good. I mean, it was just so cute. I feel like I was like blushing while watching them. And I feel like the two of the actors really like went for it in that scene. I think sometimes like on these shows, the guys can be like, oh, I don't like to dance.
Yeah,
or like,
I was gonna say.
It's like, that is such a thing. And I'm like, get over yourself. Be an actor and fucking dance.
Right.
Like, don't you think that's such a thing in some of these shows?
100% is. And my thought too was when I was watching it was he starts dancing more than she does. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like he's like, it's so different. Like he's showing her like it's okay to like loosen up and have fun or whatever, and like let her hair down, and it's great.
I know. I love that. Like, I do love that it was like him showing her that.
Yeah, that she can have fun and be, you know, studious and determined.
Yeah. And then at that party too, we get another pivotal scene.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to talk about when he dives in the water.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I feel like we get a lot of those moments where it's like a bit of a damsel in distress situation, and this didn't feel quite like that. Like they're at the party, they're about to leave, and his asshole friend pushes her in the pool for no reason.
Yeah,
really, just
it's sad.
just because he's an asshole.
Yeah,
and like,
she's poor.
She's poor.
It's like, she's poor. We have to push her in the pool.
She doesn't
like,
belong here.
Why?
Yeah. But she starts to drown because like she can't swim.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like watching this happen, and then he runs down the side of the pool, dives in fully clothed.
The dive he does, it's like an Olympic swimmer dive almost. Like, it's just so like perfect.
It's great. And then like, you know, he picks her up, he's carrying her out of the water, and he's like, it's okay, you're okay. And it's like, it's really like that moment where you see how much he cares about her. It cements their relationship, and then they go to the car, and you know she's confessing like her past trauma to him, and
yeah. You know what I like about that scene too is like he's not ashamed of her.
No.
Like in this entire series, like we never see him be embarrassed or like ashamed. Like he's the one who's kind of like going all in at first with this. And, you know, is kind of showing like his peers and the other people at school, like, I'm into her and I'm not going to be embarrassed about it.
Yeah. Yeah. His focus is very much on her and taking care of her and keeping her happy. And when he does, there's that moment where, you know, she's trying on the dress and his parents come in and they're so rude to her. Yeah. Particularly the dad. And I think she sort of is wondering, like, how does he feel, whatever. And it's clear that he's embarrassed by his father, not by her. That he is embarrassed that she saw how his father spoke to him in front of her and how his father acts. And
I mean, the dad says something like so rude to her, like, that dress doesn't look good on you. It's like, so,
it's not made for someone
twirly.
Like you.
Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, like, she looks amazing in it. Anybody, like, she's like gorgeous.
Yes. Well, the dress was made for her, as is written in the note that he sends her, because he sends her the dress and is like, you have to wear this to the gala, with a lovely note that says like, you look perfect in it or whatever.
Yeah, I just love that, like, he really goes like all in with it. And I think that a lot of times in this type of dynamic, when we have like the cool rich guy getting with like the nobody girl, we can have the scene where he's maybe like, you know, a little embarrassed or is like lying to his friends about the situation or something like that. And they didn't do that here. And I just really like that.
Yeah, no, he just goes for it.
And we didn't get a scene where she, you know, takes off her glasses and becomes hot.
She's hot from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do get her where she like lets her hair down though. She's always in like a tight bun. And then when she lets that hair down, I'm like, I love it.
Well, that's like her school look. You know, it's like the tight high bun, her little knee socks and the blazer and the skirt. But then her casual look when he picks her up to go to look at the dresses at the archives or whatever. She's like in like this cute little outfit with her hair down and like, oh yeah, like she walked out of Madewell or something. She looks adorable.
Oh, she's cute. I was like, she has some style.
Yeah.
She's working it.
Well, she's got that sister who's like trying to be a fashion designer, so I'm sure the sister helps her out.
I want to see more from the sister.
I love the
she
sister.
Seems fun.
Yeah.
Fun
She's cheeky.
Sister. Yeah. Cheeky. That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
She is a cheeky sister. Okay, wait, going back to the school though.
Yes.
I have never wanted to go to a school more than I have this school. I feel like in all these shows. Like this school is cool.
Is it because what
so
about
fun? The uniforms are like so chic.
it's fun that the uniforms are pink.
Yeah.
They're like hot pink.
Yeah.
Or like a baby blue type of, or is that just they're like hot pink or navy blue, and they can wear either one. And I'm like, that's fun.
I mean, it's in this like beautiful like old world like building.
Yeah, like almost like a castle in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Like the school just seems so like cool. I don't know. Maybe I missed taking notes or something. I don't know.
I mean, the setting is great.
Yeah,
I will say
think
the
it's
setting
like,
of the school is beautiful.
There's a lot of green like outside. We get to see lacrosse games in this. Like, I love a little, sports moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I enjoyed the lacrosse aspect of this. I thought it was kind of fun.
I don't know that I needed him to be like captain and have him lose that. Like that was like kind of a plot point that I didn't care about, but it was fun to like see him be part of something. Cause I think sometimes you get these like rich kids and their only identity is being rich and they're like not joiners. And he's like, he loves the sport. He takes pride in being the captain. And when that's removed from him, he's like very upset. So I did appreciate that like layer to his character.
Yeah. I like that they gave him a couple different layers like that instead of just being like, oh, he's the rich boy who like doesn't care about anything or isn't involved in anything. Because I think that, that can happen sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of annoying. But I really would have loved to see her cheer him on at a game.
Maybe in season 2, you never know.
I know. I would love to see that in season 2. But okay, in season 2, like, did we wrap up this school year? Like, are they going to be in university in season 2?
Well, so we definitely didn't end the school year on season 1. So there's a lot more to go. But I think we have some time because they go at the end, they go to Oxford for like this interview, for all these in-person interviews, but like we don't know if they got in.
Right.
So there's time where we have to figure out like, do they get in, do they not, all of that stuff. We need to see some sort of graduation ceremony. Like
we love that.
Yeah.
We need that moment.
Yeah, we've got some time.
I need an end of the year party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like there are so many questions, of like what's going to happen next? Like, is Ruby going to get into Oxford and like fulfill her dream? Like, what does James want? Like, we really ended the series with him being very confused about what he wanted in the future, and then they gave us a plot twist,
a big plot twist
at the end. So we're all happy. They reconcile, have sex.
They do.
Wow, boy, do they.
It's like
we get full on sex scene.
We get nudity from her.
We get ripping that condom with his teeth.
Yes.
Wow.
Producer Jesse loved that moment.
That was a moment.
Yeah. But we get a great scene where they're angry, they're fighting. He grabs her and kisses her, and then they work it out, they talk, and then they have sex. Yeah. And again, no hand wringing on her part. Like they're making out, they like make up, and then she initiates it again.
Yeah. I know. I like that they talked before that happened because I think a lot of times it's just like they clearly miss each other and want each other.
Right.
So that happens first. But I feel like they like had this really good like open, honest conversation with each other about what went wrong. And she's like, I don't care what your dad thinks.
Right. Like, don't lie to me anymore.
And then she finds out he was just trying to protect her this whole time because this dad is such a psycho.
The dad literally says, I will ruin her life. I will ruin her family's lives.
This poor like 18-year-old girl with this like powerful man.
Yes.
Like, find somebody else to pick on, Dad.
All because he thinks that it's the girl's fault that James doesn't want to take over the company, the family company, at 18. And James is like, I don't want to take over the company. Lydia wants to do this. Like, she's smart. She loves this stuff. She's like, she did this whole plan. And the dad's just like, well, no, woman, absolutely not. Women are evil. He's such a misogynist.
I know.
Hates everyone.
And she made like one. It wasn't even like a mistake. Like,
right.
Someone was like extorting her, and then the dad had to pay off this guy, and it's like that's not her fault,
right? And it doesn't mean that she's like a bad businesswoman either.
Yeah,
like, those are separate things. But anyway,
poor Lydia.
Yeah.
Poor Lydia just always working out on that yoga mat. I
Oh
was
my
like,
God,
can we
yeah.
get her doing something else? Like, she's on that yoga mat every
That's
day.
true.
I thought we were going to get like an eating disorder like storyline or something, honestly, because I was like, she's on this yoga mat a lot. Like, is like her weight a thing? Like, is this going to be a storyline?
It's about to be because she's pregnant.
Right.
Yes.
With the teacher's baby.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
When they show her sitting, she's like sitting on the edge of the tub and it's just her back. And I'm like, she's holding a pregnancy test. I know she's holding a pregnancy. And then you see her holding a pregnancy
You
test.
really get everything with this show.
You do.
We get pregnancy, parties,
Yes.
lacrosse, longing looks. Like,
It's
what more do you want?
Everything. But the cliffhanger, that's where we were talking about.
Yes.
So they have sex at Oxford.
Yeah. They're happy. And then they go back home, and James finds out that his mom has passed away while he was gone. And the dad did not call them, didn't tell them anything. She had a stroke and died.
Yeah, and she's at this point like been gone for at least 24 hours. And again, didn't tell them.
They didn't get to say goodbye or anything.
No.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I didn't want to mess up the Oxford thing. And then he gets a call about business. He's like, don't tell them the stock will tank. Like the dad is like only cares about the public image. What really broke my heart in that was that when James runs out after like physically fighting with his father, he looks at the chauffeur, Percy, and is like, you knew and you didn't say anything. Because like Percy is like, he's driving James around all the time and he doesn't say much, but like you can just tell that like he cares about James and he's on his side.
And wants him to like be a good person and like grow.
Yeah. And so like that sort of betrayal, I was like, that really got me because I'm like, that's like the one adult in his life that he feels like he can kind of trust. And he kept this horrible thing from him.
Well, I was thinking at one point, I was like, is Percy their real dad or something? Like, I was
really?
I was like, Percy cares so much. The way he's like protecting James and stuff, I was like, is that his real dad?
I think they were just trying to make Percy like the father figure for James because obviously his father he hates.
Right.
So
That's true.
No,
I thought that's what they were doing.
But it would have been juicy.
I don't think they look anything alike.
No, they don't. James doesn't look like either of his parents. Let's be honest. Neither does Lydia. None of that family looks alike, but that's okay.
They were like, we just got to go with hot people.
Yeah.
Like
Blonde boy,
that's our main focus.
Redheaded girl, dark hair dad, brunette mom. They all look different.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. This show could go there if they wanted to. Give me the soapy moment.
We do love. I mean, maybe that's something they'll do in like season 3 as a reveal when they're barely hanging on, you know?
Yeah, where they're like, we don't know where to go from here.
Yeah.
Percy's the dad. You are the father.
Oh,
That would
God.
be fun.
Well, then they would lose all their money.
Yeah.
If Percy was the dad.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Which would be a
So
benefit
then
because he could
that would
finally
be
be
a good
free.
storyline.
That's why I
actually,
thought it
yeah.
would be interesting.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
We
I'm
got it.
rooting
We
for
should
it.
write on season 3 of this show. We got producer Jesse back on board.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sad. And you just know it's like gonna be bad from here on out.
Yeah.
Now with the mom dying, it's like, can we just live in the happiness for a little
I
bit?
know.
Like they just got back together. I was feeling so good because I hated it when they were apart.
Oh, it was terrible because you know that they were both so miserable
I
about each
had
other.
to stay up till like 2 a.m. finishing it because I was like, I need them to get back together. I hate this episode where they're apart.
Yeah.
It's only like one episode, and I was like, I can't handle this.
I know, but it feels like a lot because
I know.
they don't kiss until the end of episode 4.
Yeah.
And then it's like in the middle of episode 5, they break up. They're broken up like halfway through episode 5, half of episode 6, and then it's not till the end. But it's tough, and you just know when this happens that like he's going to sort of like regress emotionally.
Yeah.
Like you know this. She said no more secrets. Like I'm not afraid of your dad. Like we're in this together. And he yells at Percy. He walks away, I guess, to her house and sees her, through the window celebrating and happy with her family and doesn't go inside. He just turns around and leaves. And it's like, just like lean on her.
I know, like knock on the door and get in there.
Right.
This family is gonna like adopt you.
They would
probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
they would welcome him in. The mom would be baking him treats. She's
Exactly.
like Ember would be like making him laugh with jokes, but
they'd be throwing food at each other.
Yeah.
Like, get in there.
I know.
It's so sad. I know. You're just like, oh no.
yeah. How is he going to handle this? Is he going to let her be there for him, or is he going to push her away?
I feel like he's gonna push her away. Like I feel
Yeah.
like that's what we're gonna see in season 2, and I'm not gonna be able to handle it.
I know, it's going to be upsetting.
What else do you think is gonna happen in season 2?
I mean, I think the dad's just going to double down and continue being a dick.
I feel like the dad is like, gonna become more abusive.
Yes, abusive. We didn't mention that. He hits him.
Yeah. And then luckily Percy comes running in, his real father.
Can I tell you?
I am like, how long has Percy been driving him around? Because like, was he driving him around at like 10 years old?
Probably.
Like, it's just so funny.
I'm sure Percy's been there since like he was born.
I know. And was like,
him.
and now I will drive you around everywhere as an 8-month-old.
Oh my
Where do you
God.
need to go?
Yeah.
Does Percy even have like a single line in the show? And
He
we've
has
talked about
like 2 lines.
Okay.
He like says something to
Like,
the
we're
evil
talking about
dad.
Percy
Yeah.
a lot.
He's
Because we love Percy. Those looks
Percy's
he
hot.
gave in the car were so good.
yeah, I think he's hot. I'll say it.
Oh,
I think Percy's
love
cute.
it. Oh my God.
I was like, he's an older man, but I'm like, I'm interested.
I like want you to get with Percy. Like,
yeah, let me just DM this like
I
45-year-old
could see you with a man like Percy. Honestly, like an older like,
man.
distinguished
Yeah.
man.
Thank you. I could see me with a man like that too.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, we're getting wackadoodle.
We are. Season 2. We're gonna have to see what happens with Lydia and the baby.
I know. That's a big storyline
Yeah.
because they kind of alluded like she's keeping this
Yeah,
baby.
it
Like
seemed-
she decided she wanted to keep the baby. The teacher doesn't know yet.
Right.
So we'll get all of that probably.
Right. Are we going to see, because it's clear that Cyril has a crush on her. Cyril, the asshole friend who pushed Ruby in the
Yeah.
pool, but he also clearly is into Lydia. So, like, is he going to, like, be part of that?
Is he going to raise the baby?
I don't know.
I know.
I doubt
feel
it,
like
but...
I'm like, I want this show to go full soapy.
Same. I'm like, he's going to, like, pretend... He's going to claim that he's the baby's father to protect her. Like,
I love
that's,
it. Yeah, I'll take it.
go
she
there.
should move into Cyril's house.
Yeah.
That looks like a lovely home.
He's rich and gets her
Yeah.
away from her dad.
Yeah, they need to get away from this dad. Like that is what I want to see in season 2. I need to see James and Lydia like come together,
Right.
and like really try and go up against this dad, and like maybe find out he's like doing something illegal with the company,
Right. Blackmail him.
something like that.
Well,
yeah.
and I'm sure they have like trusts in their name. Like, how old do they have to be to access those trusts? Like, is it 18? Is it 21? Because I know like
That's a good point.
a lot of times, like in the older days, like coming of age was like 21 when you were considered an
Yeah.
adult. And so like that's, if they're old money, like is that going to take them years before they have access to their own funds?
Well, and so the mom is now dead,
Right.
But it's her family's company.
Mm.
So I wonder if like she's gonna leave them a bunch of money, or like if there's gonna be something with that.
Maybe.
Or like if she leaves the company to the kids and then the dad is like not telling them that, or is like keeping
Ooh, okay.
secrets maybe, or something like that from them. Like I feel like the mom dying is going to lead to something with like the company or a will or a trust, something like that, because they really made it known that it was like her family's company and that the dad like married into it and like took it over basically. But I wonder if we're just going to find out something,
Yeah.
you know?
I would hope so. And I think that would give her death a greater purpose, because like, yes, it's sad that she dies, but they're not that close with her.
No.
So like the fact that they kill her off at the end of the season needs to be about something more than just like the loss of the parent.
Exactly.
To me,
Yeah.
To justify it.
Yeah. Because it wasn't like she was this warm and cozy mom
No.
to them. Like she was ruthless too. Oh
yeah.
And did not help them. Like I thought the mom was going to be better. And then I was like, you're not great either.
No, like she couldn't tell that things were wrong with her kids. Like multiple
Yeah.
times, like there you can see like something's up, and she's just like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "Yeah," and she's like, "All right, great." Pat on the shoulder.
Yeah.
So
well, and like she does not encourage James to like go after Ruby
Right.
when like clearly he is like a mess without her and is like spiraling and is not in a great place. And
Yeah.
she's just like, well, this is the way it's got to be.
Yeah, she's like, sometimes you gotta, make the hard choice and let things go. And it's also, she's like talking about herself. Like in my head, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, she's gonna divorce the dad, and that's what she's talking about.
Oh, maybe we'll find that out, that she was like trying to divorce him and maybe he killed her.
To watch, producer Jesse and Jillian came to that conclusion at the same time.
Like, stroke is not believable
When
anymore.
the kids
you
are
guys.
out of town and there's no
Yeah.
witnesses.
Okay, this
Oh,
is
wow.
fishy. I think we're onto something.
We're going big in season 2.
Yeah, I feel like he killed her. He needed her out to fully take over the business.
Fair, yeah. Oh,
Wow, I'm excited.
This is juicy.
What if he killed her because he found out that he's not their father?
It all comes full
Oh
circle,
my God.
you guys. Wow, we love this show.
We love this fake show that
We love the
created.
show we're making
Yeah.
up for
Yeah.
next season.
Yeah. We hope that they take these suggestions and write all this
Yes,
into
please.
season 2 because we're excited about it.
I would love it. I would love all of this to happen. The other thing I would love, I want Alistair to, figure his shit out and find a man who isn't afraid to be with him.
Oh, yeah. For a second, I was like, who's Alice?
The gay one.
I know. I do agree with that. I just like these side characters. I'm just
I
like, I
know.
kind of forgot about them. But I would like to see more of him. They brought him in a little bit more than some of these other
Yeah.
characters, and he seems like a good guy or is trying to be
Yeah,
good. And
he's like
I
the-
want him to find love.
Yeah, he seems like the person that James can talk to.
Yeah.
Whereas Cyril's like a surface level friend that, someone who's been around forever and they're in the same social group. But like Alistair seems like a decent guy. He talks to Ruby at the lacrosse game when he doesn't have to do that.
No,
but he's like,
she's poor. He doesn't need to
no,
talk
exactly.
to her.
And he's just chatting with her, like trying to be nice. And, James immediately is like suspicious of that. But, Alistair's just a decent guy.
I love it.
All right.
Yeah. We hope the best for Alistair in season 2.
We
for
do.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I want some more romance.
I think-
give me
yeah.
all the romance in season 2.
Yeah.
I feel like James is going to be so tortured. It's going to be
gonna
so
be sad.
good.
Sad and good. Like,
Sad and good,
We're going to be like,
just what
oh,
we
this is
want.
sad, but also incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the bottom line. Season 2, we just want more.
Yeah, that
just
is
want
what it
more.
is. We just want more because we love this show.
Yeah.
It was so fun. Everyone should watch this.
Yeah.
The Instagram is not lying to you.
No.
The clips are good.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm going to keep watching it.
I know, 6 episodes only. You
I
can just keep going and
know.
going.
At least put on the fan edits.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the amount of clips I get served on Instagram from this show is like insane. And I like them every time. I'm like, yep, give me more.
The algorithm is algorithming.
I know. And I'm grateful for that.
It's doing its job. We
Mhm.
love it when it
Yeah.
does that. Should we do as ifs?
Yeah.
This is a part of the show where we rant about something from Maxton Hall for 15 seconds, and we have to say as if, like Claire from Claire,
You were looking at me. That's fine.
like Cher from Clueless.
Yes. Yes.
Claire, do you want to go first? Kick us off.
Happy to.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Making out with your student on campus at the school where you work and she is a student as if, first of all, that is immoral that you're making out with a young girl, but also to do it in your place of work, in your office where anyone can walk in at any time, teachers, students, whoever, irresponsible.
Very irresponsible.
At the very
no one
least.
can argue with that. Like, at least do it outside school property.
Right? Like, find some privacy.
She's
or like,
a millionaire. Go to a hotel.
truly.
Honestly.
Just reckless
Be
behavior.
an adult and go to a hotel.
Yeah.
It's also like we're supposed to be rooting for them. Like
I know.
throughout
like,
this,
I
I'm
kinda
like,
was.
am I
Again,
supposed
I
to
was
be?
just like,
Yeah.
I'm only focused on the main couple
We're-
here.
right. But
I know. I did like the teacher.
Yeah,
he seemed like an otherwise decent guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see you with the teacher, like, too.
Not as a student.
If
Not-
Percy doesn't work out for me
yeah.
and that teacher.
Yeah.
He was cute, sure. Send me these Maxton Hall men.
Yeah.
Honestly.
they don't speak a lick of English.
Ah.
Perfect.
All right, your turn.
All right, you ready, Jill?
Let's do it.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, go.
Letting the students plan the biggest fundraiser gala of the year with no teacher in sight, as if. Where is the teacher who would be at these meetings helping them plan this? What money do they have with this? Like, how is this a thing?
That was stunning to me because I'm like, I get that you want them to plan it, and we had that kind of with like school dances.
Yeah.
But like, someone needs to be advising them on budget.
Exactly. There should be a teacher chaperone,
Right? Like someone
Yeah.
needs to be the one to like sign the paperwork with like the vendors and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you need an adult present for these things.
When Ruby was like talking about a budget at one point, I was just like, why are you the one dealing with this? Where is that English teacher? Oh, he's making out with the students. Or philosophy teacher, whatever he was.
Who knows?
Oh, but you gotta love this show.
We do. We love it so much.
Give me all the German teen shows. I'm here for it.
Yes.
I want more. I'm like, are there more shows like this out there in the zeitgeist that we don't know about?
There's definitely some European shows. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
heard of Elite on Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
the Spanish
yeah.
language one. That was big. That had
Yeah.
many seasons, I think.
Oh, I think they're on like season 6 of
Yeah.
that or something. Maybe I'll tune into that.
Yeah.
Jill's gonna have to learn to read subtitles though. For
I
this.
just
Yeah.
want to stare at their faces.
Season 6 is about murder. Well, no, I'm sorry. Elite.
Yeah.
Elite is a murder teen show.
That's fun. We like
Yeah. Kids murdering each other. It's very exciting.
All right, well, everyone should watch Maxton Hall if you haven't already. Watch it again, and I can't wait for season 2.
I know.
Very exciting. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Keep watching all your favorite teen shows and listen to our podcast, all the episodes that you haven't listened to. Tune into all of them. They're fun.
And you can find those episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Please remember to follow, subscribe, rate, and review us. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at previously on _teen TV. Thanks for listening.